This is Julian Lee. I grew up in the great and profound Christian spiritual tradition. I was a Catholic. Around the 1970s, when I was becoming a young man and starting to really think, I found that the church didn't seem to answer the kinds of questions that were developing in my mind. I think this was true for many. It seemed the everyday world of secular and scientific knowledge were one thing, and the words and ideas of the church were another. It seemed there was a great gap between the two. Because in my routine days, I was immersed in this everyday social and material world of pop culture, the lexicon and ideas of the church had come to seem more and more disconnected from it. They didn't seem to address that world. The real problem I see now was that my noble teachers, the priests and nuns, may God preserve and reward them, were just not able to keep up with the changes. The social changes wrought by sin were coming so fast and furious that the Catholic Church had difficulty translating ancient Catholic verities into modern language. And maybe they didn't really know those ancient Catholic verities so well for themselves anymore. And so the Catholic lexicon had come to seem foreign and distant from real life, while I was being more and more impacted by the modern world and its media, its science, its music, social changes, and pop culture. I needed the church to be really translating things and connecting to my mind. The mind of a young man grows and sees many dimensions of life, develops many questions, and needs very stout food to feed it. Christianity seemed multifarious and complex. The outer world was also multifarious and complex, but it had the stronger call on a young man's mind. I had an instinctive assumption that religion should be the mother lode of knowledge and answers, and should be able to guide and explain in all human situations at all times. Finally, freed from school, I found an ancient Catholic book, The Imitation of Christ. It spoke about penances, austerities, renunciation of fleshly pleasure, and a one-pointed devotion for Christ. And it became clear to me then that Christianity was built and proved out by the lives of saints who attained a mystical, inner, cosmic knowledge. I looked into becoming a priest. I wrote some letters. A priest came to my house, but when I asked him some of my deepest questions, he didn't have good answers for me. He didn't seem like those men in that book. I set out on a religious quest to learn for myself what was true and what was false, what was bad, what was good, and what was the real highest truth in Christianity and the other religions. I had an instinct that God would be a person who would not speak only to one people in one place at one remote time. My instinct said God would speak to all his peoples in all their places, in many times, in ways suited to them. He would try to reach all his children, wherever they were, in whatever condition. I discovered that the other religions also had sublime figures who performed miracles and represented a divine portal and salvation and happiness for those peoples. Both instinct and logic told me that by studying other religions, I could assay out what was really essential to Christianity and separate the vital truths from the bric-a-brac. And so I became a seeker. I was seeking both God and religious truth. I studied many things. One of the greatest things I discovered was Hindu yoga. Yoga means union with God, brought about by successful quieting of the mind, made possible by austerities that destroy fleshly attachments, and by devotion to the Lord, which the Yoga Sutra calls Ishvara. But I always knew too, and one of my assumptions was that God is the owner of all names. God has copyright on all the names. And all this yoga is in Christianity too. The austerities, the meditation, the devotion, the bhakti. The point of all religion, including Christianity, is to reduce human sorrows and increase human prosperity. If a religion starts to lose its power to do these things, something is amiss, and something is being lost, and the devotees need to renew themselves and renew their understanding of their religion. But this is precisely what religion has done for mankind, for human beings, for millennia, including Christianity. And don't believe the propaganda of religion's enemies, who are everywhere, in high places. Religion is the true bulwark of mankind's security and happiness, including the great and noble religions of Christianity.
Oh.